I wish I had free hands. Or hands free? No, free hands. Because in the world of blacksmithing, there are so many techniques involving more than two hands. Not so much for general forging, where all it takes is smacking with steel with a hammer. But what if you need to use a tool like, for example, cutter? I somehow feel disarmed. But maybe I can figure it out if I take workpiece with one hand and tool with the other. No. Or I take a hammer with one and a cutter with my second. Also no. To get around this issue, you can make specialized hardy tool. And it works quite well. Or you can use forbidden move called nutcracker. The problem is that you expose your jewels to imminent danger. A single misguided hammer blow and you'll forever be known among friends as the helium boy. There are also other methods, like using a holdfast, well demonstrated by the Make Everything channel. But they all share one common drawback: you can only work on the workpiece from one side. So, what is the solution to this misfortune? Blacksmith Guillotine, also known as a blacksmith wizard. Let's make one. I started by paperwork. The construction involves several components: a base, a top part, a die holder, covers, and a side plate. As a bonus challenge, I've decided to design and model everything in FreeCAD software. Now onto the materials. I'll be using thick pieces of metal for most of the structure, except for the sides. The first step is cutting all the parts to size, which I tackle using an angle grinder and a bandsaw. Once everything is roughly cut, it's time to square up all the parts. Adding a design element, I use a template to scribe the parts, then roughly cut the radius. I could do it with a milling machine, but it would take too long, so I'll do just some refining later. With two parts done, I still need to square the rest. I use one of the cutouts for the end caps. Now there's this big chunk of steel left, which will be used for holding and guiding the upper die. You might think that I'm chickening out on the depth of cut here, but it's quite tall and I don't want to risk anything coming loose. Finally, all the parts are squared, and this is all the steel left behind in scrap. The most challenging step in the entire concept is making a 55 by 16mm slot all the way through. I removed as much meat as I could by drilling. And I also roughly milled the pocket with a flute mill. And I did the same for the base, except for the drilling. After roughing, it's time to refine the pockets. I bought a special tool for this purpose. Not gonna lie you, I somehow both hate and fear to use slotting cutters. And this is big one. My fear is evident from the fact that I calculated feet and speeds, something that I rarely do. Luckily, I managed to succeed. Now it's time to finish the base. I cut M10 threads for mounting the cover. And then remaining 6 M10 threads for attaching the sides. To complete the part, I drilled a 16mm hole for mounting it to the hardy hole on my anvil. Now it's time to separate these Siamese twins. This was one of the longest drilling processes in the whole project, and I was afraid that the holes wouldn't align. So I proceeded carefully, applying no unnecessary pressure to avoid drill bending. As an additional aesthetic touch, I added a small radius. I conducted a dry test to check if the drilled holes align, and indeed, they do. Oddly satisfying. Now it's time for the end caps. There isn't much to say here. 10.2mm holes for M10 bolts in every corner. Moving on to another cover, this one for the base. What's left is to drill assembly holes into the side plates. I prefer to keep the design simple. That's why there are only M10 bolts and nothing else. All you need is one Allen wrench and you can assemble and disassemble it in no time. After refining the radius, we are done. Now it's time for assembly. You know what's missing? That final touch, the golden leaf on a fancy food. In this case, it's a guillotine. And if there's one association that fits best with a guillotine, it's France. So I printed the French flag. I tapped the mounting holes and it's finally done. I won't be testing it in this video because A, I haven't made the dies yet, those are just dummies. B, the video itself is already quite long. For the best experience, I'll create a part 2 dedicated solely to the dies. By the way, I plan to make them from this huge ball bearing. And that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and as always, till next time.